my dear Sunishthanaji and dear devotees. So I am very happy to meet you, and this is my second visit to Australia. In 2007, I believe, the Sydney Centre was inaugurated, and there was a program. I believe some of you had attended that program, and on that occasion I also visited Melbourne, and that time it was a very small private center situated in Vermont, and some students were living there, no Swami, and I am reminded that I visited one very senior devotee, Tapesh Babu. I had gone to see him, so, and also met some other devotees also, including Vijay Babu and others. Anyway, so on this occasion, when one of our devotees, whose name is Arun Gayan, he and his family lived in Tokyo for some years when they became close to us, and then this time he invited me. So I have been living with him, I was staying with him, but I visited also Sydney Centre on 11th, spent one night, and I met Revered Swami Sridharananji. He told me, if devotees ask about me, please tell them that I am much better now, so that there is no reason of worry. So now I am communicating it to you. And then I reached here on 9th, and then the next day, 10th, yes, I visited this ashram and met Swamiji. And today I am here. I will be happy to stay at this ashram this night, and tomorrow I shall again move from this ashram to the devotee's house. And on 17th I shall leave for Japan. That's all my program here. So on this occasion, Sunishthanaji asked me to give a talk as usual. So I thought, because you have heard a lot about all these spiritual themes, but I thought maybe you're more interested to know how Vedanta movement grew in Japan. Did anyone of you visit Japan? You stayed there, so it's not that high. And then any of you visited, you yourself? Then 3, 4. Oh, see. So maybe 7 or 8 who are present here. So we have some ideas about Japan. Now, I should start the talk with the visit of Swami Vivekananda to Japan. You know, on his way to attend the world's first Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893, he came to Japan. We believe that he had already had some interest to visit Japan, to see Japan, especially because the Japan was medieval country for many years, And then in 1868 there was Meiji Restoration, the Meiji Emperor. So under his leadership the country was transformed from a medieval to a modern country. And then this transformation took place unbelievably within 30 years. And with the opening of the 20th century, it was already a modern power and challenging a great and powerful European country like Russia, and also defeated it. So it's really unbelievable. Perhaps Swami wanted to see by himself how this miracle could happen. Then he stayed and traveled totally for 2 weeks, and then left for Vancouver by a ship named the Empress of India. And one of his co-passengers was Jamsetji Tata. And he inspired Jamsetji Tata to found a science institute which was named, as you know, Bangalore Institute of Science now, very quite famous. So it was Swamiji's inspiration which motivated Jamsetji Tata to start that institution. Now, what he visited, what he saw in Japan, there is a letter written by Swamiji on 10th July from a hotel in Yokohama. We have found out the photo of that hotel, but it's no more there. A multi-story building has replaced it. Now in that letter, he wrote his impression about Japan. Perhaps some of you read that letter. In fact, he sent another letter to the Maharaj of Khetri, but unfortunately that could not be traced out. But there are some more information about Japan in that letter. He appreciated Japan for its various qualities, Japan and its people. The country was very, very clean. People were hardworking. They had a great love for the country. All these things he wanted the Indians to imbibe. And when he returned from the West in 1897, then in his private conversation and also in his interview with the newspaper people, he again and again mentioned that the youth, Indian youth, should visit China and Japan, especially Japan. He wanted the Indians to visit Japan to learn the technology and learn other qualities like love for the country, hard work, all these things, so that their experience can enrich India and transform India. Then invitation had been sent to Swamiji to revisit Japan, because when he first visited Japan, he was an unknown monk. Do you hear me? Is it okay? So this time, Mr. Okakura Tenshin was an art critic and at the same time a devout Buddhist and a great intellectual also. he first sent a letter to Swamiji, and Swamiji was introduced to him by Josephine MacLeod, who came to Japan to learn art from Okakura Tenshin. That's the connection. But Swamiji said that though he was willing, but his health was failing, so it's difficult for him to revisit Japan. Anyway, then Okakura Tenshin decided that he should go personally visit Swamiji and persuade him to visit Japan. Then also an invitation was sent on behalf of the Japanese emperor. But finally, Swamiji could not revisit Japan. But in his subconscious mind, he had a strong desire to revisit Japan and do something for Japan. Why we make this statement? Because on the last day of his mortal existence, on 4th July, when he left his mortal body, he made a remark, I want to do something for Japan. What's the background of this statement? No one knows. But this has been quoted in the biography of Swami Vivekananda by Eastern and Western disciples. So I want to do something for Japan. And as you know, these great persons, he was one of the 7 sages. So wish of this type of elevated souls will be definitely come true one day. And in 1958, Swami Ranganathanandaji, when he was visiting some of the countries of Asia, Eastern Asia, being sponsored by the Ministry of Culture of India, that time he came to Japan and he gave a talk before the Indians and those Japanese who are interested in India. And there he suggested that a Vedanta society should be started by the sympathizers or the persons who are interested in Vedanta and Ramakrishna Vivekananda. Then in 1959, the society was started and it was inaugurated by Swami Nikhilanandaji, who was at that time the head of the New York, the Ramakrishna Vivekananda Center. And it was managed by the devotees for many years. And then, most probably since 1978, Swami Bhuteshanand started visiting Japan. He visited Japan 10 times, 9 times as vice president, and the last time as the president. So, among all the foreign countries except Bangladesh, he did not visit so many times any other foreign country as he did in the case of Japan. So Japanese devotees had a profound love and respect for him, and Bhuteshanji also had a very soft corner for Japan. Then in 1984, the center was affiliated to the Ramakrishna Mission. Now about Japan, you believe the Japanese This very special race which combined some of the Eastern and some of the Western qualities. You cannot completely call it as the Eastern country because some of its traditions and its practices, and neither you can call it a Western country. So it has combined, as I say, qualities of both the East and the West. And the qualities Swamiji found maybe 100 years before, more than 100 years before, still now you will observe the same qualities in the Japanese. Some of the countries really are very clean, but the characteristic of the Japanese is that they have added aesthetics to the cleanliness. That is something special. So wherever there is some possibility, some scope, they will show their fondness of aesthetics there. Placing a bouquet of flower or something beautiful, painting, a touch of nature. That's one thing. Then they are very hardworking and they work silently. Then their love for the country is also very great. And though they are firm inwardly, otherwise they are full of humility. People sometimes misunderstand that because they are so full of humility they can be amenable. It's not like that. Inwardly they are very firm. What they have decided, they will do it. But if he cannot fulfill your request, he will reply in such a way that it cannot hurt you at all. Just for one example, I can tell you that irrespective of the quality of the food you cook, so they will use only one term which means delicious. Salt, too much salt or no salt, they will just say oishi. I believe you know this word, particular oishi. Oishi means delicious. So they are very careful, so they should not hurt any people by their words and behaviors. And from my experience of about 30 years in Japan, I see the public morality is very high. Crime rate is significantly low, though it has grown little more than before, but still now it's quite a safe country. And people are very cooperative. One time what happened, one of our devotees wanted to visit us for the first time. Then he reached our local station called Zushi. He asked one Japanese, and Japanese, though they study English, but they are not very confident to speak in English. But if you speak them very slowly and distinctly, then they may give you some answer. They may understand it and reply. Anyway, so what happened when he wanted the direction, how to reach our center, the Japanese gentleman gave him some wrong direction, the opposite direction. The moment he understood that, he ran to that gentleman and said, "I'm very sorry, I gave you a wrong direction, then I'll show you the right direction." So our station from our ashram is about 20 minutes walk. All the way he took that gentleman to our ashram. Though our visitor was telling, "No, I can go by myself, you just show me how to reach that place or so straight. He said, no, I made a mistake, so I must take you to the ashram. So from that you can understand that how helpful they are. So in this way, they have many, many wonderful qualities, which is very, very appreciable. But one thing they lack, that is this spirituality. That means we cannot say that they don't believe in God. On 1st January, for example, there is a long custom that Japanese will be visiting temples and shrines and pray. That's all. Then they will pray again next year, 1st January. So, religion has not become a part of their life. Many people, they follow some Shinto ritual or Buddhist ritual in their life just as a custom. For example, especially regarding the funeral ceremony, you can call them Buddhist. But when the purification of land, they will suppose they build a house, purification of land, in that case they will call a Shinto priest. So it's not exclusive in that sense. Shinto is a native religion, and the chief features of this Shintoism is love for the nature, or so you may say nature worship, ancestor worship, and worship of the emperor as an embodiment of God. These are the three features. And in 6th century, Buddhism was introduced in Japan and influencing a lot the Buddhist life and its culture. But for various reasons, it's difficult for me to explain this historical reason. But for various historical reasons, now neither do they seriously believe in or practice Shintoism nor Buddhism. Though some of them have genuine interest in spirituality, with the result that when they are very much stressed, when they face real troubles, they don't know how to solve. So they are at a loss. And another feature of the Japanese is that someone asking, has the Japanese no emotion? They do have, but they don't express it. Like most of the Indians, we very quickly we express our emotion, our anger or joy, whatever it may be, or sadness, but they don't express in that way. As a result, sometimes it causes some mental problems also, because they don't express it. They are very, should say, introvert. So there's another dimension of it. But on the other hand, because we express our feelings off and on, so that's why we sometimes lack the energy when we have to do something. But the Japanese character is this: they, in that sense, they store their energy, and when the situation demands, they can use that energy to do the job. One example is this. From there you can understand the characteristics of the Japanese. You know, so far the atomic bombs were dropped only in one country, that's in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Towards the end, and in fact, that decided the fate of the Second World War. Then the war ended, and perhaps you remember the Tokyo Olympic was held in 1960, can you say? 64. So you believe after the Second World War, when the country was shattered, I should say, in every sense, financially, economically, then within this such a short span of time, they could organize such a great event, world-class event like Olympic. So from that you can understand, if they take up something, they can take up so seriously and they can finally do it. Now, as I told you, the problem is there this, that they lack mental peace. And as a result, there are so many cases of mental illness, and then perhaps you know the total number of suicides are very high in Japan. And there, the Vedanta Society, we have some role. So, what is our role? I rather tell you what are our activities, from that you can understand. We, as the Ramakrishna Mission has a daily schedule, we have that. In addition to that, we also celebrate the birthdays of Sri Ramakrishna Holy Mother Sharda Devi and Swamiji, and also we observe Krishna Shiv, we observe Buddha's birthday, and in addition we do regular morning chanting, and on Sundays we have a special service, in the sense that the chanting is there and at the same time you read from Bible, we read from the Buddha's teachings, and perhaps the Japan Center is the only center where some part of Quran is also read. So in that way we try to practice this harmony of religions. In Japan, there are many Buddhist sects, and really they are not in good terms with each other. In that sense, they are exclusive in that sense. But when they observe that we not only talk about harmony of religions, we do practice it, that impresses them. Then we have our outdoor retreats. In some of the Western countries, there are retreat centers. We have not like that. It's very expensive to have a retreat center permanently. So we rent some sort of a retreat center, a retreat place of retreat, or some hotels near a mountain or near an ocean. And for about 3 days we were there, and from the morning until the evening there are several programs are there. In that way they are exposed to a spiritual life and how to do spiritual practice. Then we, from Monday to Friday, every day we send some messages through Mail magazine, inspiring quotations from different scriptures every morning. Then again, we have a publication center. So, of course, if we consider English, that's a different thing, because in English you have so many hundreds of titles are there. But except English, among other foreign languages, the Japan Center has a maximum number of publications, more than 50. So the whole, for example, you will understand the complete translation of the Gospel, then the Great Master, complete translation, then the Apostles' Direct Disciples' Life, then Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, excerpts, Upanishad, then biographies of Turiyanandaji, Adbhutanandaji. So in that way, there are important Ramakrishna Vivekananda literature, and Swami is all yogas, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So important literatures of Ramakrishna literature have been translated into Japanese. And then we hold a public celebration of Swami Vivekananda, and we rent a hall, public hall in Tokyo. Our center is about 50 kilometers away from Tokyo. It's in the suburb of Tokyo. So we rent a hall in Tokyo, and mostly also in the Indian Embassy auditorium, we hold a public celebration where about 200, 250, one time about 600 people attended this public celebration, where we invite the Buddhist monks or the scholars, intellectuals, eminent professors, and of course Indian ambassador to give a talk on Swamiji. In that way we try to preach Swami Vivekananda's messages. In addition to this, we also have a newsletter both in English and in Japanese. So our homepage is vedanta.jp, JP for Japan. So if you have interest, please you can see it, because it's both in English and Japanese. It's very challenging for us. If it's only in Japanese, maybe it's easier. And mostly the foreign countries, for example, German, it's in Germany only. In France, it's in French only. But in Japan, it's bilingual. And our talks are also bilingual, especially which are meant for all people. Otherwise, all the scripture classes is exclusively in Japanese. And among the devotees who regularly attend our talks, either physically or through Zoom or through internet, 99.9 are all Japanese. So that is something really remarkable. While in USA, for example, in the West, there is now mostly the presence is the Indians, the Caucasian, they are sort of slowly and slowly the numbers are reducing, but various reasons are there. More and more Indian immigrants are there. That's the main reason. Anyway, so far, at least in our center, as I say, mostly all of them are Japanese. So we have to speak in Japanese. Though I mentioned already, they study Japanese, but they are not confident. So we have to, unless we speak in Japanese, give talks in Japanese, they cannot really understand. And in addition to this, we are invited to various groups in various islands of Japan. You know, Japan mostly it has 5 main islands, including Okinawa. So, how we conduct these sessions, these spiritual retreats? It will mostly 3-hour session. We start with some chanting, then silent prayer, then there's a talk, and followed by a recess, short break. Then there will be question and answer. Finally, there will be guided meditation. So in this way, we visit different cities of the islands. Before Corona, about every year we would visit like 10 to 12 groups like that, every year. And at the Indian Embassy, we have a monthly discourse on Bhagavad Gita, and you will be surely glad to know or be very impressed that about before Corona, more than 100 would register themselves to attend this talk on Bhagavad Gita. Is it not something amazing that so many Japanese, they have so much interest in the Indian scriptures? But it was not like that when I had gone to Japan in 1993. So my predecessor was Swami Siddharthanandaji from 1984 to 1993. 1984 to 19, he had been there. He studied Japanese very well, but finally for health reason he had to go back. Then I was asked by the headquarters to take the charge of Japan Center. But when I first came, there was not so much interest in Indian philosophy and all these things. Yoga, I just learned after coming to Japan that there is difference between yoga and yoga. When you say yoga, if you pronounce it yoga, means it's a physical part of it. But yoga is philosophical. So I didn't know there's a subtle difference between these two pronunciations signifying two different things. That's a thing I learned after coming to Japan. Anyway, so they are only interested in yoga, not yoga. But slowly and slowly they understood only taking care of body will not do. Unless the mental health is sound, the physical health cannot really be sound. If the body is strong but mind is sick, then one cannot get really peace, and that's not a desirable life. They slowly understood it, and they are showing more and more interest in the philosophical aspect of yoga. That is how it's changing slowly. And then this is about Indian Embassy, and there's another very famous city you must be knowing, Osaka. There also a group invites me that I visited once in 2 months. And there was about 60 people. They would register for this Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad discourse. In that, I say, these are all the examples I am giving you to show you that though average Japanese have not much interest in philosophy or in spirituality, but some sections of Japanese, and this section is growing, that they are showing more and more interest in leading a spiritual life, because they understand without this they can really have a steady mental peace. Now, what the teachings which impress them? You know, they, in their education, there is no scope of learning philosophy and all these things. And there are Buddhist priests. They talk of Buddhism, but sometimes too philosophical to be understood by the common people. But when we talk of Sri Ramakrishna, when we talk of Holy Mother, when we talk of Swami Vivekananda and their messages, when we explain to them some of the wonderful teachings of Bhagavad Gita, they are so much impressed by that they invite us every year. For example, the Bhagavad Gita's teachings, you are your friend and you are your enemy. Atmaiva hyatmana bandhu atmaiva ripuratmana. What a profound teaching. We generally think that someone, such and such a person is our friend, such and such person is one whom we don't like. Even if we don't call him an enemy, but people are there whom we like or we don't like. But Bhagavad Gita, in that sense, we use this term, friend and enemy. But Bhagavad Gita says no. You are yourself, you yourself are your great friend, you yourself are your great enemy. In what sense? If we can control our mind and senses, then we ourselves become our great friends. And if we cannot control our senses and mind, then we become ourselves our great enemy and friends. Isn't it a profound teaching? Then it is said, some of the enjoyments at first appear like nectar, but in the long run, the same enjoyments appear to be poison. And that type of enjoyments are called Rajosic Sukha. That means some of the enjoyments we first relish it, but finally we fall in big trouble of those enjoyments. Again, some types of enjoyments are there which at first appear to be like poison, but finally turn to be nectar. So then consider this, when in some Preya and Sreya, which is apparently good, but it turns to be troublesome, which is Preya, and the other one is Sreya, which first appears to be something troublesome, monotonous, tiring, hard. But if we go on practicing those things, for example meditation, then those very things will help us. So this type of teachings, they are so much impressed. The Swamiji's teachings, all power is within you. Manifest it. And how will you manifest it? Either by practicing Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga or Raja Yoga. Then he says, how to powerful this message, unselfishness is God. I believe you know this about this. Unselfish. There are so many definitions of God, but Swamiji is so unusual, I should say, this statement, so special, that one has to ponder why Swamiji says like that. Unselfishness as God. Because what's the greatest obstacle to our God realization or the realization of our Atman? It's the ego. So the more and more we become selfish, the more and more we pamper our ego. And finally, appears to be poses to be an obstacle to our spiritual life. But by becoming unselfish, by helping others, by forgetting about ourselves and thinking of others, then that ego is eliminated, which is the greatest obstacle. So then it helps us to realize God. So in that sense, he is this word, unselfishness is God. Then he said, the remedy of weakness is not brooding over of the weakness, but thinking of strength. So how practical these things. It's not just a philosophy. One can relate it to their own life. This is the thing which impresses the Japanese. They are otherwise very practical, not in that sense very philosophical. So anything that can relate to their own life impresses them. Then Holy Mother has this type of message. My dear daughter, if you want to find peace, I believe you know that, then what's the statement? Holy Mother's last message? Huh?
Don't find fault with others.
But?
Don't find fault, but look at your own self.
Then?
Own fault.
Then? Next?
Nobody is a stranger.
Everyone is your own. The world is your own. That's a complete statement.
Yeah.
So this is Vedanta, isn't it? That means the whole world is yours. Matame Parvati Devi Pita Deva Maheshwara Bandhava Shiva Bhaktascha Sadesho Bhuvanatrayam. See, Holy Mother says the same thing, isn't it? No one is a stranger. The whole world is yours. And if we really try to find our own faults, what's the time to find others' faults? Tell me. We get time and we have interest to find others' faults. That means we have no interest in finding fault in ourselves. That means we don't want to rectify ourselves. If we really want to rectify ourselves, what's the time to rectifying others? But that's the thing which are always doing this. Tell me, if our whole focus is on rectifying ourselves, what's the time and energy to rectify? Because we have other works to do. Then what's the extra time to find fault with others? But we go on finding fault with others because we have no interest in correcting ourselves. So these are the statements when we explain to them. As I told you, they are interested in what they hear, how much they can relate it to their own life. This is a big difference, I should say, of the way of giving a discourse in India and I believe in the West and in Japan also. They don't want big quotations from Upanishad or Ashtavakra Samhita or Ramayana or Mahabharata, all these references. Neither do they know, nor they are much interested. They want to know what Swamiji, what you think about it, what is your experience. Tell me how it can help me. So our interest should not interest be in that, how much it can help me. Not, the scripture is not for enjoyment, it's for improvement. And another thing, we always tell them, go on hammering, go on emphasizing again and again. You see, you will gain only, you will experience only, you will realize only, you will be profited by the study only when you practice it. So our problem is in this assimilation. We hear a lot, we read a lot, especially through the YouTube. So many hundreds of Swamiji's talks, many Swamis. We talk and talk and talk, but what's about the practice? By talking only, by reading only, one cannot become spiritual. So as Sri Ramakrishna spoke how beautifully, again and again, approached this subject in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and says, if you say just butter, butter, butter is in milk, you can't get butter. You have to turn the milk into curd, then churn it, then you get butter. But this is where we actually lack. We visit our Vedanta societies, we become devotees, we get initiation for some maybe for 20 years we are doing some japa or attending. Why there is not so much progress evident in us? The only reason, the one and the only reason is this: we are not so much interested to practice it. There is a beautiful story of Leo Tolstoy. They said they are very glad, they are happy to talk about change, but they don't want to change themselves. So they enjoy talking about changes, but they never want to change themselves by practice. So these are the important things, we draw our attention to them. And another thing, we don't ask them to believe and believe and believe. Most of the religions, you just believe what I say. The religious leaders of others, this is a characteristic of Hinduism. You see in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna explains, and when Arjuna does not understand it, Arjuna questions, and Sri Krishna explains it. So that's our way, Indian way of teaching this philosophy and spirituality. So we follow the same way. We say first you believe it. First you understand it, then you believe it. Otherwise, this faith and belief is very vulnerable. So, same thing about the spirituality. Question about the life. What is life? What's the purpose of life? How can you fulfill that purpose? Is by mere going to a temple or visiting a Vedanta Society or ashram will fulfill me? So this introspection is very, very important. So we tell them all these things, that only listening and reading will not enough. You try to introspect what you want to be and what you are. Always there is a gap between what we would like to be and what we are. For most of the people, this gap always remains. As long as this gap remains, we really cannot progress. Let this gap be shortened. I believe you understand the point. What we would like to be and what we are. So our focus should be how this gap should be reduced. Then only that's a symptom of that we get more mental peace, we get mental joy, we really progress. Otherwise, when we take the initiation, we started visiting the Vedanta Society, and after so many years of visiting, the gap still remains the same. Then we must understand that really it's not very profitable for me to visit the center. So we want to make it profitable. If we want to gain by visiting the ashram or listening to talks or reading the books, then we must try to assimilate at least to a certain extent by practicing it. So practice, practice, practice. So I shall finish with this, that let us in fact understand this particular point. As I am telling you, I am been sharing the same thing with our Japanese devotees, and I am sharing with you also, that let us focus our attention to assimilate. Sometimes I feel it would have been better that if we would have been known little less. sometimes maybe we know too much. So would it not have been better if we would have known a little less and practice more? So we are very good in quoting scriptures and talking about all this and that, but I believe it would be more profitable if you can do a little practice of it, assimilate a little of what we have learned. So with this I close my talk, and if maybe for 5-6 minutes, if is it okay? Some question and answer there. Then you can. Anything about Japan or about spiritual life, anything is okay.
What kind of food do you eat there, Swamiji?
Excuse me?
What kind of food would you be eating there? Is it Indian or Japanese?
Okay, so in our center mostly we cook Indian food, but Japanese food is quite good. I like some of this food. It's easily digestible. If you, I should say, if you take a full Japanese meal, take Japan, fill in your stomach with many Japanese dishes, in the night you will feel like eating again. But with Indian food with so many spices, maybe you will go on belching, and maybe next morning you will not feel like eating your breakfast. So in that sense, it's not, Japanese is very mild, and as I say, easily digestible. But you have to grow. I should say, growing the taste. You have to grow the taste for it. That's the important thing. First, when I had gone, I did not like this, I did not like that, but slowly I developed the taste, and now I enjoy it. Most of it, most of the items I really enjoy it. And one thing, traditional Japanese food you will not get in the ordinary restaurants in station and airport areas. For that you have to go to a traditional Japanese restaurant. Then you will see so many items are there. Then again, it's an eye-opener to me. As long as in India, I knew that soybean, there's only global that soybean, chunks. So I knew only that soybean, there's only one preparation of soybean, and that is that type of. But after coming to Japan, I saw some restaurants they serve only soybean items. So about in their menu they will say 60-70 items, but there was fish along with fish and tofu. It's called tofu, soybean, but basically soybean. Meat, vegetarian, so many dishes, soybean. So in that sense, really I should say, so many items are there about which you have really very little experience, even if we go as a tourist and take food in airports and restaurants or station areas. That's about food. And they take a lot of seafood because but recently they are now more fond of meat. That's I think one change in the food habit. Okay, any other question? Okay.
If turning inwards is the answer, and introspecting your own self,
right?
How does initiation helps in the part of spirituality?
The initiation, does it? If you really initiate, what is initiation? Initiation with a mantra. With a mantra, isn't it? Then mantra is not just a mere word. It has some deeper connotation of mantra is there, isn't it? And unless you withdraw your mind from the outside thing, and if you turn your mind within, pratyavritya chakshuhu, as they say, unless you turn your mind from without to within, so how is initiation can help you? So for a concentration on the mantra, if you want to concentrate on the mantra. So you have to do it. You have to focus your mind within, isn't it? So concentration, introspection is about the whole life. Not only the spiritual life, your work life, your relation life, these are all, introspection will help you. To which direction are you going? So I am not talking introspection only in view of a spiritual life. Your life of relationship is very important. Work is also very much important. So in all these things, what you would like to be and what you are, it's relevant to all these three important aspects, isn't it? Your spiritual life, your work life, and your life of relationship. Are not true? So in that way, and initiation is just as far as spiritual life is concerned, that initiation helps you. So now introspection for example, spiritual life is this. I want to make my mind calm and quiet and pure. That's the criteria of a spiritual life, isn't it? We should make our mind calm and quiet and pure. Now, what happens? We sometimes work at cross purposes. We want to make our mind calm, but some of the things which you indulge in, which make our mind more restless. Just this is introspection, self-introspection. Through that you will understand. For example, at random uses of mobile, will it help your mind to make your mind calm and quiet? Tell me. It will make your mind more restless. So, through introspection only you become aware of this, that sometimes you are working at cross purposes. We want to make our mind pure, but all these unholy vibrations enter through us through different senses. You understand what I mean? That's Shankaracharya called ahara. Ahara is not just taking it. There are so many people are serious and strict about vegetarian dishes, very much Puritan. It's fine, but only vegetarianism cannot make you mind pure. If there's so much jealousy and so much others say hatred and all these things are there, thinking of unholy thoughts, will it make by vegetarianism make our mind pure? No. But I just give you one example. So in the same way as Ramanuja gave a lot of emphasis on actual food, taking of food, different types of food, one should be careful, a spiritual aspect. But Shankaracharya explained this deeper. He said, not only that's enough, one should be also careful about what type of vibrations come through our senses. That's also ahara. What we see through our eyes, what we hear through our ears. These are also very much important for the health of our mind. So that's what I'm telling. If you introspect it, then you will understand. On the one hand, as a devotee, you want to make your mind pure. But on the other hand, we are absolutely careless about what vibrations are entering into us through our different senses. So that's why I'm telling. Through introspection, only you understand that we are working at cross purposes. Then when you are aware of it, then you want to rectify it, isn't it? Otherwise, you are quite fine with you. Many people, they don't have introspection and they work at cross purpose. They want to go to the east, but they are walking towards the west. So how can you progress to the east? Tell me. You want to go to the east, but actually you are walking to the west. Can you ever reach your destination? Can you? So how will you understand it? Through introspection. That's why it is very important.
I have
Okay, now another question from here, this side. Okay, what do you wanted to say?
Swamiji, my name is Vivek.
Oh, then you have Swami Vivekananda. You are an advanced soul. Okay, tell me.
My name was given to me by Swami Kirtidananji.
Kirtidanandaji. Oh, yes, I know him.
So as soon as he holded me and he said his name is Vivek.
Wow, very nice.
So,
Then?
And Swamiji, she's my friend. She's from Thailand.
From Thailand, okay.
She was very she wanted to experience the temple, so I said I'll visit.
So is your first visit?
Her is first visit. I usually come and meet.
Oh, very nice. Go on visiting the temple and meet the Swami.
We actually went to Japan in October.
Oh, is it so?
And I wanted to visit Kanagawa. I think the temple.
Yes, Kanagawa
I was
prefecture.
very interested, but because of the short itinerary, I could not visit the temple. So we were going from Hakone, but it's close to Hakone. And I was very curious about one thing in the shrines that I visited. A lot of shrines there, that they have the Shinto gate around the Buddhist temple, and though that Buddhism sects are different as well, because a lot of
lots of subsects and subsects.
So
As in Christianity also.
Exactly. So Swamiji, when I wanted to understand the concept of the gate, because they say that that gate leads you to another dimension of that gate. The entrance is that. So they have the gate outside the temple, that's Shinto, but then they have the Buddhist temple inside.
No, it's not that. Shinto, it has different type of architecture, and Buddhism have different type of architecture, Buddhist temples with pagodas and all these things. Now, Shinto shrine, as I said, they're mostly nature oriented. In fact, in that there is no image and nothing like that. It's a encircled place, and behind that sometimes there's a mirror or something, no image at all. So mostly nature. So they all build up in a place where it's full of nature. But in Buddhism, there are definitely some images will be there. Sometimes the image of Buddha, or sometimes the image of the founder of that particular sect. Or sometimes a mantra also is that. No image, only the mantra. So according to the different practices, their shrine is that.
And they have, I read few of the pamphlets there. So they had gods like our Indian gods there.
Yeah, some are there, because some Indian gods have different names in Buddhism. But it is surely in all these countries, I say Thailand, and then Laos, Cambodia, Indonesia, Bali, and they are very much, I should say, influenced by the Indian culture. Though later on, some of them are influenced by Buddhists, some of Islam. So it is there, but it's a Ramayana. The Indonesia, the Ramayana, the actors are sometimes the Muslims, isn't it? I believe you know. The Ramayana actors, they are Muslims. But they so much, there's a impact, and they don't want to, I should say, eliminate that factor. They still gladly they carry on this traditional culture.
I have a lot of friends, Indonesian friends, they are like practicing Muslim, but their names are from Mahabharata.
Yes, true.
There are a lot of them.
True. And now because of the yoga, it's International Yoga Day, now they are more and more interested in that, and they can connect it. And from physical to then the other aspects of yoga, it will slowly and slowly. As Swami said, long before, that India will rise and rise more than what it had been. That's true. Slowly and slowly it's going to that direction. Okay, I believe we should stop here. Okay, so thank you so much. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanastu. So let me pray for the well-being for all of you, for the peace of all of you. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here with you in this evening. And also thanks to our Swamiji for organizing this talk. Thank you so much.